They already hit the recording? Yes.
Okay. Oof, it's loud. Okay, welcome. It is 6 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us for today's meeting, either in person or virtually. Please be advised that our meetings are recorded by Zoom for documentation and reference purposes. By continuing to be a part of this meeting, you consent to being recorded. If you have any concerns or objections, you need to let the board know prior to the meeting start. Today's agenda. We have a lot of things on the agenda today. I know it's very hard to see up here, so we have put that agenda on your tables. We'll talk a lot about those papers that are on your tables. If you don't have one, share, or if you need one, we'll have to divvy them out, okay? All right. Arizona LD12 Democrats acknowledge the land we gather on today is the ancestral homeland of indigenous nations that have inhabited these lands since time immemorial. We take this opportunity to thank the Hohokam, including Acoma, O'odham, Pima, and Peepash Maricopa peoples of the past, present, and future for their traditional care of this land and their resilience. Attached to this physical space is a painful history, a forced removal, resulting in intentional genocide of its indigenous people. This history is important to all of us as a reminder not to cause further harm. We remain appreciative of our ability to teach, learn, and serve in a space such importance. Oh, shoot, I think Susie reminded me, we need to add a slide. Hi, everyone. Welcome to LD12 Democrats. My name is Melissa Galarza. I am the chair of the district. And joining me today in the room, could my board members stand up? Where are you all? So we have Sherry, first vice chair, AJ, at large, Steve, treasurer, Nicole, Nicole walking in the door back there. And then on Zoom is our secretary, Susie, and Melanie at-large board member. So thank you very much to my board members. All right, let's get this meeting started.
Okay, first we're going to welcome any first-time attendees. So if this is your first time attending an LD12 meeting, stand up and introduce yourself with your name and what city you're from. Melissa will come around with a mic so that people on Zoom can hear.
Is it working? Oh, it is. Hi, welcome. Right here, AJ. Stephanie, what city are you from? Ahwatukee. Stephanie from Ahwatukee. Welcome.
Welcome, Stephanie.
Oh.
I'm Alex, and this is my wife, Kayla. We're from Tempe.
Welcome, Alex and Kayla from Tempe.
Kayla.
Hello, Marie Fowler from Tempe.
All right, Marie from Tempe. Let me guess, your name's Julie.
Yes, and I'm from Chandler.
Okay, Julie from Chandler.
Hi, I'm Jane, and I'm from Ahwatukee.
Jane from Ahwatukee, welcome. All right. Hold on.
Susie, do we have anybody online?
We do. We have Lynn and Sid Plate from Tempe.
Welcome.
Sandra from Ahwatukee.
Sandra from Ahwatukee.
And Sandra from Ahwatukee.
Anybody
Welcome.
else? Did we miss anybody?
Okay, while Melissa's finishing up there, we'll welcome any elected officials. If you're an elected official, please stand so we can recognize you. We have Bridget Bellavina, our constable for Kyrene Justice Precinct. We have Jennifer Germain, our Justice of the Peace for San Marcos Justice Precinct. We have Tyler Kissel, who is the University Lakes Justice of the Peace. We have Armando Montero, who is the president of Tempe Union Governing Board. And we have Kevin Walsh, who is governing board member. Are you vice president right now? Just a good old-fashioned board member now, Kevin Walsh. We have Regina Gutierrez, who is on the SRP Council, and Nicole Brown on SRP Council. We have Councilmember Angel Encinas from Chandler City Council, Councilmember Jane Poston from Chandler City Council, Councilmember Matt Orlando from Chandler City Council, and last but not least, our Senator Mitzi Epstein.
And Sherry, we have Karen Lathan, Constable of University Lakes Justice Precinct on Zoom.
All right, Karen. All right, and then if you are a candidate that's running for office, please stand so we can recognize you also. Bridget Bellavina running again for Constable for Kyrene. Jennifer Germain running again for Justice of the Peace for San Marcos Precinct. Michael Abramson is running for Tempe Elementary Governing Board. Armando Montero running for LD12 House. Kevin Walsh running for Kyrene Governing Board. Cicely Rocha Miller running for Chandler City Council. Catherine Peters running for Kyrene Governing Board. Franklin Zyrick running for Kyrene Governing Board. Matt Orlando is not standing, but he's running for Chandler Mayor. And Jane and Angel are also running again for Chandler City Council. And Karen is also running for Constable of University Lakes Justice Precinct again. We have two really awesome Bada Bing raffle baskets. Brewed Awakening, all coffee themed. And is there a drought in here? It's Guinness beer, mugs, and stuff to go along with that. So you can scan the QR code to buy tickets, or Steve is over here and he can sell you tickets with cash, check, whatever. No, I said her first. Oh, Jen, go ahead and come up.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to speak a little bit early. I do have to go out to the Sun Lakes meeting tonight. My district, San Marcos Justice Precinct, covers the city of Chandler and the unincorporated Maricopa County community of Sun Lakes. I am your first woman, your first Democrat, and your first Native American ever elected to this office. And my court has been in existence for over 100 years. So I would really ask you, we're looking for folks who would be willing to write op-eds for neighborhood circulators and for some of our East Valley papers. We're looking for people who would be willing to have a yard sign in your yard. If you would like either of those things, you can get in touch with me through our website. It's germainforjustice.com. And it's going to be a long haul until November general election. I do have a general election opponent this cycle. He's currently a state senator in the other district. So I am here doing this job, working for our people, because I truly care about our community and care about restorative justice and care about making sure people are taken care of in our court systems. So that is why I'm here. That is why I'm running again. Thank you very much.
All right, for the month of May, this month we celebrate Jewish American Heritage Month and the significant impact that Jewish Americans have had on our nation's history. We want to thank all of the Jewish Americans that are part of LD12 for all that you contribute to our group. It is also Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We celebrate the culture, history, and achievements of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islander Americans. Our nation would not be the same without the contributions of these communities. Let's give a hand for both Jewish American Heritage and Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. AJ, you're up.
Hello, everyone.
We lost the sound.
Now it's on.
Yep, okay.
All right, it is my pleasure to introduce next mayor of Chandler, Matt Orlando, council member. And currently a council member and trying to protect their seat, Angela Encinas and Jane Poston. And the next council member, Cicely Rocha Miller. Thank you and welcome.
I'll take this one. It's blue. It's blue.
It's on.
All right. So the first question a politician should always ask is how much time I have. 2 minutes? Okay, perfect. See, now wasn't that courteous of me? All right. Good evening. My name is Matt Orlando. For over 40 years, I have served this nation, state, and city. I first started serving this nation, United States Air Force. I spent 5 years on active duty and 25 years on the Air National Guard. I retired as a colonel. I then had I've been married to my lovely wife, Pat. We have 3 kids and 2 grandkids. Of course, I recommend having grandkids first and then have kids. It is a lot easier. Second it, and I got off stride there for a second, but I've been a small business owner. I came out of high-tech industry. I had a worldwide sales team. But more importantly, I've been involved with this Chandler City Council since 1990. I was elected for 8 years. We had term limits. Got back on the council, was elected again, got off, got back on again. And I get asked the question a lot is, Matt, what's happened in Chandler since the 1990s? Well, a lot of things have happened. First of all, we're 300,000 people. It's unbelievable, the amount of growth, almost 300,000 people. But second, and more importantly, we have a lot more complex problems than we had today. 30 years ago, I was worried about infrastructure, water pipes, making sure our police and fire is on the street. Now I'm worried about more complex issues, cybersecurity issues, our children getting an education. We're worried about mental health, addiction. I go on and on and on and on. These complex problems are worsened because state and federal government is providing less funds. That's the reality. So it's up to us in this room to have a leader that understands these complex issues, has the background, has the ability to navigate through these issues, and put together a coalition of business, nonprofits, and other organizations so that we can solve these issues. Government can't do it all. I know we have a lot of government entities here, and they understand that. So we have to reach out. And we need somebody that has that experience and someone that has put together those type of coalitions. That's why I'm running for mayor. My opponent is a legislator. Go ahead, boo, Mitzi. All right, thank you. Mitzi's, and she left already. Jeff Winninger, he's not a fan of schools. Oh, wow, good. Keep on with the boos. He's not a fan of education. I had a debate, 10 days ago, AJ? And I think I heard the word cut 5 times. So that's not what we need today. We need more people that could put that together, could work with individuals. So that's where we're at this campaign right now. I'm enjoying this campaign because it's getting me to meet more people every time I go out there on the streets. To tell you how despicable this whole elections is so far, they put their signs up before it was legally put their signs up. Yeah. So you know what that tells me? I've been doing this, like I said, for 25 years. They're desperate. They're desperate. Let's suck up all the corners. But you know what? This team will prevail because I believe in this team and I believe in the people of Chandler. I'll stop at that and let my colleagues go.
Well, good evening, everyone. Is this one? Switch? I'll take the blue one. There we go. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here. My name is Councilmember Jane Poston with the City of Chandler, and I am in my first term as a council member. And a little bit about my background is that I have been married to my husband, Jason, since the year 2000. We started our small business together in that same year. It's how we met. And so we have been running video production, marketing kind of work forever. We have always tried to use our business to be engaged with the community. So if there is a board that I didn't serve on or he didn't serve on in Chandler, we did a pro bono video for them. So we have a really tough time of saying no, especially when there are so many good causes that need help. I've served on the Chandler Education Foundation as a marketing person. I ran a couple of the bonds and the override marketing plans for CUSD School District, which is where my two children graduated from. I have one down at U of A studying finance and another that just graduated ASU and is at his first job in New York. So I am a very, very proud, thank you. I am a very, very proud CUSD mama. And I think that relates because to me, I try to encapsulate what I'm trying to do by saying that I want to make sure Chandler is the kind of place that my kids, that your kids can come back to. And that covers everything. That means working on attainable housing when they get their first jobs. It means that we have jobs, the parks, that we're managing our water well, that our city continues to be fiscally responsible. And so the things that I've been working on since I've been on council are things like attainable housing. I did push for a housing study, which is now integrated into our general plan. What that does for us is tells us what we really need instead of just what the developers tell us that they can do at the time. So we can really begin to push for that. And hopefully making attainable and affordable housing both a part of that. Making sure that we have infrastructure. While Chandler seems so new, some of our infrastructure is a little older. And one success that I think we can all share is that we passed $475 million in bonds this November with a mid 70% approval rating, which is unheard of in this economy. It means that Chandler thinks that we're doing well. I think that they support us, that we have been managing their finances wisely. We've been managing those assets wisely. So the job isn't done yet, and I hope to continue. I hope to continue with these three. I want Matt Orlando as my mayor, and I can't imagine two people that I would rather serve with on the city council. So I'm asking for your vote. I'm Jane Poston. That vote is July 21st. No, I'm speaking to the choir, but it doesn't hurt to say it. I'm going to pass it along to Angel.
Good evening, LD12. I am Vice Mayor Angel Encinas and candidate for Chandler City Council. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to introduce myself or share my story, a little bit about me. I grew up in the heart of downtown Chandler. I am your hometown council member. I grew up there. I still live in the heart of downtown Chandler. I went to all Chandler schools, a proud product of CUSD schools. I continued my education at Arizona State University, where I got my degree in business and a minor in sustainability. I put myself through college working in the financial industry and the hospitality industry. And right now, my primary work that I do every day is working with my family's business. We do immigration consulting. So I help people legalize here in the United States, and that's everything from work authorization, residency, citizenship. I love it. It's great and rewarding work, even in these crazy times that we're going through. It's been one of the most difficult years that we've done, but we're still getting things approved and moving things along and helping as many people as we possibly can. But that work is what inspired me to run for city council and do more for my own community in Chandler. And that's why I ran in 2022 and thankfully landed a seat. I'm a big advocate for neighborhood reinvestment for our traditional neighborhoods that help build and establish Chandler. I'm a big advocate for public safety, ensuring that our police, our fire have everything they need from equipment to wellness, to training, to continue keeping our community safe. And obviously, as a small business owner, making sure that Chandler remains a place where you can continue to grow your business, bring a business, and be prosperous here in Chandler. In the last 3 years, I continue to work very hard on those things for neighborhoods. We put together a roundtable, that's a traveling roundtable for resources for these older neighborhoods to see what resources they need and empower those neighbors to invest in their own communities along with the city of Chandler. We've done some amazing things with public safety. We've done cancer screening for our firefighters to make sure that they are healthy and safe to continue keeping us safe. We've launched our own ambulance services. That's going to be launching in 2027. That means you're going to have firefighters from Chandler taking care of you. Police department, we've maintained a full staff, or well, we reached a fully staffed department there, but we are working to continue and make sure that that is retained. And we also reached the lowest levels of crime in Chandler historic in the last couple decades. And we've done other things such as being certified for autism and dementia certifications through our cities. We've also invested so much in sustainability, in solar panels, and just so much more great things. And none of that is possible without the help of my fellow council members. I don't do those things on my own. As a council, we do these things and they believe in these items, and we have residents and candidates like Cicely that believe in this as well too. So we want to continue this journey in Chandler, continue this progress. So I ask for your vote on July 21st. If you want more information about my campaign, feel free to reach out at angelforchandler.com. Thank you guys so much for your time.
I won most enthusiastic in 5th grade, so hold on. My name is Cicely, like the actress. Does anybody know who Cicely Tyson is? Cicely, like the actress, Rocha, like the bug, and Miller, like the beer. So now you'll never forget. I have the pleasure of working side by side with these folks and being mentored by them the last couple of years. For those of you that don't remember, I did run unsuccessfully in 2024, but I lost that runoff by I lost the chance to be in the runoff by 224 votes. And man, did that stink. It did, because the first thing I thought of course, they have the support, or they're supporting our public safety, but that was one of the first things I thought of was who's going to make sure that their needs happen, because that's a basic need in Chandler. So when the opportunity came up again, Cicely, are you going to run? I said, I don't know. AJ knows all this work that goes into this. It's hard. And so I thought, gosh, all the volunteers, all the money, I would be silly not to try again. So I am here, I am trying, I am knocking doors, I'm working hard. Thank you. So with that, very quickly, I am a mom of 2 wonderful children. We are small business owners. I can practically see Angel's house from my house. We are downtown neighbors. I went to ASU with a degree in nonprofit administration and communication. My dream is to make a difference in the community. That's all I wanted to do. That's what my parents taught me. And so this to me is not a stepping stone. This to me is not anything to do because I'm bored like a couple of other candidates. I'm not going to say any names. But this is an opportunity for me to be a true civil servant. So I am going to piggyback on everything that they have said. I'm focusing on public safety. I'm focusing on streamlining business opportunities. I'm focused on the opportunities for trades with our schools. What can we do to strengthen that as a daughter of a welder? And something that I'm really proud of is Chandler, I think, does an exceptional job with our arts and our events. And I want to make sure that that completely stays invested in. So my name is Cicely Rocha Miller. You'll never forget my name now. And I look forward to receiving your vote on July 21st. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, we're going to come take a picture. Come on. Yes. And then also we have voter guides that we have put together so that we're going to be able to do some lit drops. We're going to be working in Chandler a lot. It talks all about Chandler City Council and everything. And AJ, are you? Oh.
Thank you, guys. Safe travels down to Sun Lakes.
Okay. I am. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. Oh, I forgot to put the slides back up. Oh, yeah, I'll do it really quick. Sorry, I forgot. I was supposed to be doing this too. Okay, here's a reminder that every month, Judy Wade and Bill Baker make these wonderful raffle baskets for LD12. The money from these raffle baskets help pay for the location that we're in, the equipment that's needed to run the meeting. It pays for donation envelopes, voter guides, lots and lots of voter guides. So if you could, please help us and support the district by buying a raffle ticket. Oh, what? And you get to go home with cool stuff, really cool stuff. The baskets are over there, so go and take a look. Okay, so at the last meeting, I notified all of the PCs that we are going to be having an election for the second vice chair position. The second vice chair position shall perform the duties of the chair during the absence or disability of the chair and the first vice chair, or in the event of a vacancy until a successor is elected, and perform the duties assigned by the chair or these bylaws. All right, so I am going to run the election. Here's how the election's gonna go. Well, I gotta get these glasses on. All right. I am gonna call for nominations. Candidates must be a current LD12 PC in order to run for the position. I will close the nominations after 3 times calling for open nominations. The nominator will have 1 minute to give a speech. If the nominee is a self-nominating, we're going to skip that. The nominee must accept the nomination. The nominee will have up to 2 minutes to give a speech, and the speeches will go in the order in which the nominations are made. If there's only one candidate, a vote by acclamation will be done. If there are 2 candidates, the winner must have a majority vote of the PCs. If there are 3 or more, voting will be done via instant runoff. Only PCs are eligible to vote. So I'm asking only PCs in the room. I will call for the nominations. Is there anybody in the room that would like to run for the second vice chair of LD12? Is there, oh, okay. You can't, hold on.
Can I nominate Catherine Rawls?
Thank you. Catherine Rawls, do you accept the nomination? She says yes, she accepts. All right. Are there any other nominations for the LD12 second vice chair position? I have to ask 3 times. Last call. Are there any nominations for the LD12 second vice chair? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the nominations? So moved. Thank you, Bridget. All right, nominations are closed. So we can go into a vote by acclamation. Do you want to still give your 1 minute speech, or do you want to forego your speech? Okay, great. She will be given a speech. All right.
Hello, hello. I am Catherine Rawls, for those of you who do not know me. I am a native here of Arizona. I work and live in Chandler, and I'm a director of operations at an advertising agency in Chandler, and I'm the VP of my HOA currently. I've been active in this district since 2024. I'm a PC, a state committee member, a commissioner who was appointed by the Republican mayor of Chandler, might I add. And I'm in the current class of 42 of Chandler Leadership Institute, and looking forward to bringing equal representation of Chandler to District 12. My mom, who happens to actually be in the room today, is super big into personal brands. So my personal brand is authenticity, transparency, and putting people first. I didn't get into politics to make money. I'm getting into it to fix a broken system from within. I look forward to you joining me on that journey. I have high aspirations. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Yes, now we have to do an official vote. So we are going to take a vote by acclamation. Do I have a motion to vote by acclamation? So moved by Sherry, seconded. Nicole, seconds. PCs in the room, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? I don't think I have to ask that, but anyways, I can't remember. I have a lawyer, I have a judge in the house who should have done this for me, right, Tyler? All right, there you go. Congratulations. You're gonna get a ton of emails from us. So welcome to the team. I forgot where. Oh, I left my, oh, yes, upcoming events. Okay, so here's a list of upcoming events. Remember that sheet that I talked about earlier that's on your table? It has a list of all of the events. This is just some of the events This isn't all. We do a lot of events around LD12. So take that agenda home with you. It has the list of events. You can always go to the LD12 calendar to find out more information. There are next month, our meetings are always hybrid. We have them online and in person. I just want to point out usually June and July, this facility is closed. So usually we've been doing them on Zoom, but I found a different location that is in Chandler because we need to get Chandler activated. Yes, AJ and I went and checked it out. LD13 holds their meetings there, but it's going to be at the Chandler VFW. So we're very excited to be able to support the facility and have our next meeting there. So LD12 does a lot of events every single month. We have Dumbs and Donuts that's coming up, Watering Hole Wednesday. They have leaders and readers that they do, and then they also do the LD12 game on. So thank you to the volunteers that put these together for us every single month. They are wonderful, so I appreciate their time. Our event spotlight for tonight's meeting, LD12 is going to be doing a Protect Education fundraiser. The location is at Drink Me Tea Room in Tempe. So I want to thank Melissa Harlan for opening up her location for us for free. And we are going to be doing a fundraiser for the Protect Education because we know they're going to fight us on the petitions. We're going to have to fight tooth and nail to even get it anywhere past after we collect all of our signatures. So we need to raise some funds. This is going to be Sunday, June 7th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's going to be food, snacks, drinks. You'll have to pay for the drinks, but yes, there'll be drinks, real alcoholic drinks. If you want to drink at 11, that's perfectly fine with us. So please join us in this wonderful fundraiser. We're working on our guest list as we speak. And so I have teamed up with them to help them get through this referendum. All right, Sherry.
Okay, so at our last meeting, we talked about all of the new PCs that we'll be welcoming in after the primary election. And since we have a lot of new people involved, we just want to go over a couple of reminders about the code of conduct. Our PCs are subject to the Arizona Democratic Party's code of conduct, all PCs. What that means is, to summarize, is that as PCs, we listen, be collaborative, use inclusive, positive language, and refrain from disruptive behavior. We assume good intent, commit to being non-judgmental, communicate honestly, openly, and refrain from abusive or exclusionary language, and don't post photos of others without permission. We create a safe environment for others. We respect personal space and property, avoid abusive behavior and harassment, consume alcohol responsibly, even at the fundraiser, and avoid social media posting that is malicious, misleading, inaccurate, obscene, or threatening, and be polite and respectful of individuals' opinions and anticipate others' sensitivities. The reason that we're saying this is we've seen an uptick on social media in particular of things that could be considered xenophobic, that could be considered anti-Semitic, that could be considered racist, homophobic, any number of things. So we want to make sure that your conduct isn't just in this room. You represent Legislative District 12. You represent the Maricopa County Democratic Party. You represent the Democratic Party as a whole. So the expectation is that you behave that way no matter where you are. You don't know when you're being watched, who's observing your behavior, and we want to be good representatives of our district and our party. We are a big tent party, and there's a lot of varying opinions and passionate feelings about a lot of things, and we want to be respectful of everybody. And so if you are having any issues with inappropriate behavior, harassment, or bullying, you can report those to the chair or vice chair of our district or also to ADP. And then just a quick, so this is just a reminder to everybody, and we appreciate everybody just being kind. With that, a reminder about our Bada Bing raffle tickets. Don't forget to buy them. QR codes are on the agenda and also can be purchased over here with Steve. And then I'm going to bring Nicole up and she's going to talk about our next speakers.
Melissa
Oh, I guess I
or
didn't-
Nicole,
Yes.
we have a person on Zoom with their hand up who would like to say something.
Okay. Speak away.
Lisa, you want to? Go ahead. Lisa, go ahead.
Last call. Lisa, last call. If you are muted, Lisa, unmute yourself. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. If Lisa wants to talk, we can circle back. So tonight we're going to talk to both the CD4 candidates. Actually, Congressman Stanton is flying back to DC doing the people's business and cannot be with us tonight, but we will have him on video. But before we get started, just wanted to kind of read it. It goes along the line of what the Code of Conduct says. We know that the elections these days are contested. So we want to talk a little bit about respect. So before we begin, we want to set expectations for respectful conduct during tonight's CD4 candidate presentations. We have one congressional candidate joining us in person, while the other, who was unable to attend because he's doing the people's business, submitted a video statement to be shared with the district. Both candidates were provided with a series of questions in advance. The submitted video does not include responses to those questions. We hope to receive responses to those questions in the future so they may be shared with members and attendees. We recognize that contested primaries bring strong opinions and passionate discussion, but we ask everyone to engage in a manner that reflects respect for all of our participants and for the democratic process. Please allow speakers to be heard without interruption. Disruptive behavior, shouting, harassment, or intimidation will not be tolerated. Our goal tonight is to provide an opportunity for voters to hear from the candidates, consider their views, and participate in constructive civic dialogue. Thank you for helping us maintain a respectful and welcoming environment for everyone. And thank you. We also want to remind everyone that pursuant to LD12 bylaws, members of the LD12 Executive Committee, you too, Catherine, that includes you now, may not endorse any candidate in a contested primary. Tonight's meeting is intended to provide members and attendees with the opportunity to hear from all candidates in a fair and respectful setting. And the best way to make your voices heard is to vote for the candidate of your choice. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start with Congressman Stanton and his video, and we'll get that started.
Thank you, LD12.
We can't hear on Zoom.
We are going to start it over. We're going to start it over.
Susie, can you hear it now?
No.
How do they hear it? Okay, hold on. Hold on, she's looking, Susie. Thank you. for your patience on Zoom. Okay, Susie, we're going to try play it again.
Floor. This is an election year, and it is the most important election year that any of us have ever been involved.
Could you hear it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to start it over.
Thank you, LD12, for the opportunity to say a few words tonight. I wish I could be there in person with you. I'm on a flight back to Washington, D.C., where it's going to be another week of political brawls on the House floor. This is an election year, and it is the most important election year that any of us have ever been involved in. For me, that is 30 years of trying to get Arizona Democrats elected up and down the ballot. No more important year than this year. But I want the opportunity maybe to tell you a little bit more about myself, because though we have worked together very closely, you may not know too much about me personally. As some of you know, I grew up here in Phoenix, in the West Side, at 39th Avenue in Dunlap, in a neighborhood right near Metro Center, very working class neighborhood. My dad was a shoe salesman. He sold shoes at JCPenney for almost 40 years. He took the city bus every day to and from work. That is the reason why I am such a passionate advocate for public transportation, because I know that for families like the one I grew up in, public transportation can be the difference between making it and not making it. My mom was a part-time English instructor at Glendale Community College, and they were all about service. We were active in our local church, and through that work at the church, my parents put together a wonderful group of volunteers who would deliver to our home almost every day food, clothing, diapers, shoes. And our group of volunteers and our family would then deliver those to farm workers in the West Valley, people who worked so hard to put food on our table and often had needs, and we tried to fill it. They didn't talk a lot about theology. They just put their faith into action. That's how the four Stanton kids were raised, and what a wonderful experience I had growing up, seeing parents that were just so committed to helping others. When there was a need in the community, they filled it, and they did it without any recognition, any dinners, any awards. It's because that's what their faith called them to do. And the four Stanton kids who all live here in our community, obviously I'm involved in the political process. My youngest sister, Maria, 34 years as a special education teacher in the Cartwright district in the West Valley in Maryvale. My brother is retiring this year after 30 years in public education, including 10 as superintendent of the Washington Elementary School District, the very school district that the Stanton kids went to when we were growing up. My older sister, Susanna, works in community relations at Channel 15 News. So all of us are involved in public service in various ways. And after graduating law school, I came back to Arizona over 30 years ago. And from that time to this day, I have dedicated my time, my work, my passion to getting Democrats elected in the state of Arizona. Back then, we were a very red state. And I got involved in the legislative district in my community, just like you. I was a legislative district vice chair right out of law school, and was actively involved in getting a Democratic slate in LD12 back in the day in the heart of our city, knocking on doors, trying to get not just state legislators elected, but also school board members. And of course, Janet Napolitano and Art Hamilton and other great leaders back in the 1990s. And I've been, of course, in public life myself as city council member and mayor, and now in Congress for almost 26 years. And that entire time, I have poured my heart into getting other Democrats elected across this state, across the political spectrum. I haven't spent much time fighting other Democrats. I'm a team player. I work hard to get other Democrats elected. When I was, of course, elected mayor, I pushed the city in a very progressive direction. Successful projects like the largest gun buyback program in Arizona history, We were the first city in the state of Arizona to pass a fully comprehensive non-discrimination ordinance supporting our LGBTQ plus community. We had, of course, the largest public transportation investment. I put it on the ballot on the same election as my own reelection, which many people thought was a really dumb idea politically. But when you believe in something, you got to be willing to put in real political risk. And that's exactly what I did. And the entire time, of course, we had the highest wage growth of any city in the United States of America. It's the reason why Governing Magazine did select me as Public Official of the Year in my last year as mayor. And in my last year as mayor, I made the decision I'm going to continue to serve my community. And that's why I ran for Congress, successfully so. And of course, after the redistricting, which they tried to make Congressional District 4 one of the most competitive districts in the country, a toss-up district, with your support, with your partnership, we'd be able to win it each and every time. And now I spend my time, of course, helping Democrats around the state. Here in Arizona, we've got some of the most critical elections in the entire country. I'm as you probably know, the head of a key committee that's helping to get Democrats elected across the country in the most competitive seats in the country, including and especially in Trump districts that Donald Trump won. Throughout my time in politics, I've supported every single public education funding initiative that's ever been on the ballot. That's why I'm strongly supported by AEA and the education community. I've been an incredibly passionate advocate for working families. That's why last year I was named Public Official of the Year by the AFL-CIO, and I have the strong support of every labor organization. I have the support of the environmental community and environmental groups that I've been so strongly supportive of, and of course, people fighting for abortion rights, including Reproductive Justice for All and Planned Parenthood, are supporting my campaign. And look, we know what's at stake with Donald Trump in the White House. We have to win this majority. We've had some tough setbacks over the last just couple of weeks with the decision of the Virginia Supreme Court to undo what the voters had done there, to provide better districts for people who share our passion and our beliefs. And of course, the Supreme Court just decimated the Voting Rights Act one final time to make it harder for communities of color to have full representation at the United States Congress. So they made our path a little harder, and that's why I'm going to continue to work harder than I ever have. I've been in this business for a long time, and right now I am more passionate about this work than I've ever been in my life. We are going to win this election. We're going to win the majority. We are going to stand up to Donald Trump. We're going to bring back checks and balances to the United States government. We're going to have subpoena power, and we're going to fight to investigate these illegal activities that this person in the White House has done over and over and over again. And we have a fighting chance to win the Senate. And when we were in the presidency in 28, we have a chance to do some incredibly important things, like comprehensive immigration reform, like gun safety reform, like passing the Women's Health Protection Act to reestablish abortion rights in American law, just to name a few. But first things first, we're going to have to win this incredibly important election, and we can't do it without you. And as you know, every time I've been on the ballot, I stand firmly with my partners on the ballot, people running for the state legislature, school board members, corporation commission, whatever it is. I have passionately advocated and fought for my fellow Democrats and walked neighborhood after neighborhood with them. That's exactly what I'm going to continue to do. So LD12, thank you for all you have done. Thank you for what you're going to do. We stand shoulder to shoulder in this fight, and we're going to be successful this most important election year. Thanks for letting me say a few words, and can't wait to see you on the campaign trail.
I just wanted to let everybody know we have no control over the air or heat, so apologies in advance, and they just won't let us change it, so sorry.
I was going to say it's 109 outside and inside in here, it feels like. Okay, so thank you to Congressman Greg Stanton for his words, and then we're going to bring Kai Newkirk on up. Come on up. You're in the hot seat, my friend. So I'm going to ask you some questions and some things that might be on the minds of folks in this room. And so you guys stand next to me because, oh, I'll give you, 2-minute opening, but I took a shower, so you can stand close to me. That's fine. Just joking. All right, we're going to let you say a few words, and then we're going to get right into the questions, okay?
Beautiful. Thank you. How we doing tonight, LD12? It is good to be with you tonight. My name is Newkirk, and I am running for Congress in this district, and I'm running to flip the tables of what I believe is a corrupt and authoritarian status quo in our country. I was asked by many people to step up and do this. I'm a community organizer, the son of a carpenter and a child care worker. I've been a leader in social movements for democracy, for peace, for our planet, for justice for many years. And now I'm running to bring that same struggle from the streets and the strikes into the halls of power. And I believe that our incumbent, Greg Stanton, he's a good man. I love him like I love everybody else. I'm thankful for much of his service. But in my view, we're in a time of emergency and crisis for our country and our world. And we need Democrats that are willing to fight with the spirit and the urgency that is required right now. And in my view, Stanton has proven that he is not that kind of Democrat. I have a few questions for you. Does anybody in this room agree with me and the vast majority of Democrats that ICE is a rogue agency that has proven it's a danger to all of our rights and lives and needs to be abolished to end its reign of terror once and for all? Does anybody in this room agree with me and the vast majority of Democrats that Donald Trump is an authoritarian who has committed many high crimes and misdemeanors for which he should be impeached, removed, and fairly prosecuted? Does anybody in this room agree with me that we should finally guarantee health care as a right, not a privilege to everyone in this country through Medicare for all once and now and finally? And does anybody agree that if we're going to solve this cost of living crisis, that Democrats should not be taking money from the very same corporations that are screwing over the working class? And finally, does anyone agree with me and the vast majority of Democrats that we should be a consistent champion for human rights and international law in our world, and that we should not send another dime of military aid to Israel for the war crimes and genocide in Gaza? On every last one of those issues, friends, every last one, our incumbent, Greg Stanton, is out of step with the vast majority of Democrats, the majority of people in our country, and for me, most importantly, what is right and wrong. And if we are going to stave off Donald Trump and his authoritarian threat, we have to lead with the conviction and the courage and the authenticity, and to stand up for what is right with courage, and to lead in a way that is going to inspire people to join us in this fight. I think Stanton has failed on some important fronts in that, and that's what I've been doing for my entire adult life, leading in the streets, in the strikes, with people, with that authenticity, with that courage, and that's what I'm going to do if I'm elected to Congress, to make good trouble from that position, and to ensure that we not only defeat Donald Trump's authoritarian tyranny, that we move our country forward to a new day, which is possible, where we realize finally the vision that Dr. King had of a beloved community, of a society that's guided by the principle of loving our neighbors as ourselves. I ask you as Democrats, embrace the debate, embrace this choice. We need to elect Democrats, absolutely, and I've been fighting about as long as our Congressman has. But we also need to elect better Democrats that will stand with Democrats on our values and fight for the change that we need for the working class in this country. Thank you.
Hey. All right, let's get started with the questions. Okay, so as a first-time candidate for Congress, what experiences in your professional, community, or personal life have best prepared you to serve Arizonians, and how would those experiences shape your approach in office?
Thank you. I hope we get to hear the answers to the questions that you gave the Congressman. I thought they were important and urgent questions. On this one, like I said, for decades now, I've been a leader in nonviolent movements for justice, for peace, for democracy, for our planet. I'm the primary founder of multiple nonprofit organizations and social movement campaigns. I've been part of winning elections for Democrats here in Arizona and elsewhere. And I've also served in an elected office as a deputy to a city councilman in Los Angeles. In our district, we actually had more constituents than most congressional districts. So I worked at every level, both in terms of input on legislation, working with constituents, working with the member. I've been here in Arizona. I do live in the district. I'm not sure that our incumbent does, but I do live in the district and I've lived here since 2018. And well, I guess I'll ask the question first. Does anyone here think that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has done a good job in Congress? Anybody? I agree. And I have more experience in terms of political organizing, in terms of working with legislators, and in terms of working in an elected office than she did at the time that she was elected. And I'm confident that those years of experience and all those relationships and that history of being in fights and helping to win is going to enable me to serve very well as a member of Congress.
So looking ahead, are there any policies, political trends, or decisions by leaders in your party that you would approach differently? And what have you learned from observing those situations?
As you may have picked up from my introductory remarks, there are many. I think that we have to face the truth that the Democratic Party has helped to pave the way for Donald Trump and his authoritarianism and his fascism. Working class people feel betrayed in this country. We feel like it's a raw deal, and that corporate profits and the wealth of the billionaires has been going up, and life has become harder and harder to afford for everyday people, and real wages in terms of purchasing power has gone down. And Democrats have been part of that in too many cases. And that's in part because we've accustomed ourselves to a corrupt political system, a corrupt campaign finance system, right? Where, as John Ossoff says, it's pay to play, it's coin operated. Money goes in from the moneyed interests that want policy to benefit them, and then policy comes out to help them rather than everyday people. And I think as Democrats, we've been complicit in that for too long. We've been part of policies that have hurt people, and we have to shift in another direction. We have to make a choice. You can't serve two masters at the same time. You can't say we're going to do what the billionaires want and the plutocrats and the oligarchs, and we're also going to fight for the working class. So I think that's a core question for our party, is to choose a side in this fight between oligarchy and a real democracy that serves working people. And there's many issues in terms of votes that our incumbent has taken and where Democrats have stood in this time of Trump's second term. One that I've spoken about here before is the Lake and Riley Act. Now, this bill gave more power to ICE to round up, detain, and deport people. That is a fact. That is a fact. And our incumbent was one of a small minority of Democrats in the House who voted to pass that and gave Donald Trump a green light for his authoritarian mass deportation campaign. Now, I've felt the pain of what ICE causes, of the damage they do in our country closely through my family. And to me, voting for something like that is an outrage. There are members of Congress who've apologized for doing so. Not a word in that video or anything else from Representative Stanton. And he's not fighting for the reforms that are going to end that once and for all, which in my view means that ICE, an agency that was only founded in 2003 to take a counterterrorism approach to the civil matter of immigration, has proven it's a disaster, needs to be shut down, and needs to be abolished. We need to reorganize not just immigration law, but how we do enforcement from the ground up to put humanity at the center. Do I have time for more issues?
Well, you can talk in the next question.
Okay.
So what are your top two priorities for Arizona, and what specific steps would you take to accomplish them if elected?
There's so many competing priorities, I think, to wrestle with on this, but I would say two. One is to defeat Donald Trump's drive to seize power and to become a dictator in our country. And the other is to really confront the cost of living crisis in a way that shows poor and working class people that we can deliver life-changing material benefits in their lives. Because if democracy can't do that, then people are going to choose a strong man who promises it rather than weak-willed and indecisive and compromised opposition that doesn't actually deliver when we have the chance. And on the question of authoritarianism, we have to ensure that we have a free and fair election this year, and that's a fight. And I've been in the streets and helping to organize in that fight from the very start when Donald Trump was inaugurated the second time. And to my knowledge, Stanton, he first showed up and joined people at any effort to push back on what Trump was doing publicly in June at one of the No Kings protests, didn't promote it, didn't speak, just showed up. I saw him in a video with you, AJ. That was how I first learned about that. And I just thought, wow, after half of a year of high crimes and misdemeanors in which Didn't you all feel like we were living through a crisis and we needed to do whatever we could and use any kind of tools to push back? Somehow that's when you show up. We need to be using every nonviolent tool to push back. And Stanton in December, can you imagine, in December of last year, voted against impeaching Donald Trump after a year of high crimes and misdemeanors. We have to be clear that he must be impeached, removed, and prosecuted, even if the vote is tough. If we don't tell the truth and organize, how are we going to win that vote? How are we going to get Republicans to join us if we can't even get organized as Democrats? That's how we won on the Epstein bill to release those files, was we got all Democrats organized. We kept beating the drum. We kept telling the truth. We kept fighting. And then some Republicans came over and passed it, right? So if I'm elected, the Oversight Committee apparently is a committee that more junior members have a shot to get on. And I would try to get on that to help lead the drive, not just to investigate, but to push to prosecute and hold Trump accountable for high crimes, misdemeanors, and war crimes in Iran and elsewhere. And on the cost of living crisis front, we talk about making life affordable for everyone in our country here in Arizona. But I don't think we can really do that unless we confront the power of the billionaire class and oligarchs and corporations that they hold over our political economic lives. That means, number one, rejecting their money. It means fighting to ban their political spending. And it means pushing a policy agenda that people can feel. And that's why I talk about Medicare for all. So you never have to worry again if you're going to leave your job, or you're going to move to a different state, or you get divorced, or you age out from your parents or whatever, that you know you're going to be covered in the wealthiest country in the world. And it will be tough to deliver big stuff on that, even if we get the majority in the House and the Senate, because Trump will still be president until and unless we're able to remove him or you know, some event that no one can control. You know, if his health fails or something like that. But we have to plan and understand that he's going to be in there. And so, in my view, that doesn't mean that it's impossible that any good can be done. Because if we're pushing for things like strengthening Social Security benefits, for example, and raising the cap on income that goes into it, does anybody else think it's absurd that you could make $50 million a year and only pay onto Social Security tax on the first little chunk of that? So that's incredibly popular. It's incredibly popular, and it would help people if we increase that for seniors in our country. If we're fighting for those kind of things, it might be possible to get Trump to come to the table and to pass something. And if not, at least we'll be showing voters, as we're building towards 2028, where Democrats stand. And if they give us the White House in addition to the House and the Senate, that will deliver on an agenda that they will feel in their daily lives, like universal child care, like Medicare for all, like a national living wage. Like tuition-free public colleges and universities, like investing in clean energy such that we can accomplish here in Arizona what they have in Australia, which is to make electricity free between noon and 3, because they want to encourage people to be using it at those peak times. We have to lead with some ambition and think about what people need, not just what the corporations and big donors are going to accept.
Final question for you. If your opponent were to win the primary election, would you support and campaign for him in the general election? Why or why not?
Of course, absolutely. I've said this, made it clear from the start. I was really looking forward to hearing Congressman Stanton's answer on the same question, because I understood it was posed to him. And to this point, he hasn't acknowledged that I'm running. He hasn't agreed to join the debate on May 27th that Clean Elections Commission is holding. And didn't show up at the Tempe Rising Indivisible event that he was supposed to be the speaker at. And then I was asked last minute and I came to speak to people. At some point, we have to address these issues, because as was clear, as both from polling and the reactions in this room on some really, really core fundamental issues for our party, he's out of step with where our voters are at and what the people want to fight for. But we have to understand whoever wins the primary is our nominee, and we have to back them. And so if Stanton wins, I'll do my part to make sure that he wins this seat. If I win, I would expect that he would do the same. And this seat is rated as solid blue by the Cook Political Report, which is the gold standard for that political analysis in our country. Stanton won the last time by 7%, with 2% going to a Green Party member. So that's a 9% margin over the Republican candidate, and a bad year for Democrats, all right, where we did badly in the national election. This year, all indications are that it's going to be a very good year in terms of where the voters stand, both the congressional, generic congressional ballot polling, every special election that has happened, 8 million plus people turning out for No Kings, and voter registration numbers finally are shifting our way because of the enthusiasm and people standing up to Trump. So I'm confident that this seat is going to be in Democratic hands regardless of what happens. But we can't just ask ourselves, we can't just play it safe and say, hey, let's protect wherever we have a foothold. Because part of the reason we're in this situation with Trump is that when Democrats have had power, we haven't delivered enough for people to really feel it, that there's a clear enough difference. And we've been hemorrhaging working class votes for a long time. That has to change. We can't just elect Democrats. We need to elect better Democrats that are going to fight for the things that Democrats believe in. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Kai, thank you so much. That was all the questions that we have for you tonight. Do you want to say something?
Can I take some from the members? No?
She said,
Oh, okay.
no, sorry. But you can tell them where you'll be next and they can ask questions there maybe. All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much. for
Thank
being
you. Thanks,
here.
everybody. I'll be around for a little time, a little
Thank
bit
you.
longer, depending how it goes, and would love to talk to you. Thanks again.
All right, just a reminder that this will be the last chance. Steve, you're up. This will be last call for your Bada Bing raffle baskets. So if you'd like to purchase tickets for that, please make sure you use the QR codes that are on the screen, in the chat, on the tables. And then Steve is going to give us a treasury report.
Does this work now? Aha! Oh, the part you've been waiting for, right? Let me talk about the numbers. Woohoo! The good news is the numbers are looking really solid. I'll walk through this briefly. We're right now sitting at about $48,000 in the bank. We're a little bit behind. We're a little bit behind where we wanted to be, but really up very little. A couple $100 is all. And the part of the reason, if you can go to the next slide, that we went a little bit negative in terms of our budget forecast is that we had a couple of not unexpected expenses, but a couple of expenses that happened a little bit earlier than we originally anticipated. So you all know we did the spring fling and we did the giveaways of those blue balls. That we had a lot of fun talking about the last meeting. We made a nice donation to Keep Arizona Blue. We actually brought on a field organizer to help us do some of the work around getting the politics going in LD. We are invested a little bit of money with Nicole and the Around the District podcast. If you haven't taken a listen to it, I recommend it. They do a really nice job. It's 30 minutes, well worth listening to, and they've done some really interesting work. And Gabby, yes, I'm sorry about that. Sure. I apologize. We actually had to rent the new meeting facility that Melissa talked about a little bit earlier. I will point out, though, that people have said, well, geez, the $47,000, that's a lot of money. Why do we need $47,000 in the bank? The reason we need it is we've got voter guides, neighbor-to-neighbor activities, bulk mail activities, texting activities. If we spend the money that the board has and forecasted to get come the end of the election cycle, we will have less than $6,000 in the bank because we have a very clear idea of where we need to spend money, how it's going to be spent, and what kind of measurements we need to have. So the money that you give on a monthly basis for those of you that are recurring donors, and the money that you give for the fun of winning a raffle ticket really make a difference and really allow us to do the kind of work that the LD is known for. Thank you. Any questions about
Just wanted to remind or just to tell everyone the reason that we didn't have Kai answering questions is because Greg Stanton isn't here to be able to take questions from the audience as well. And just to be fair, we wanted to make sure that everybody had the same opportunity. So that's the only reason why we're not letting Kai take questions from the audience.
All right. This one works. All right, great. Well, thank you to all of our exec board members who have put together yet another fantastic board meeting for all of us. These are the important issues. I love the speakers you bring. This was a great forum tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll keep it brief because it's hot in here. Yikes. So today, looks like we might have a budget very soon. And so that's very good news. But today on the floor, we had a surprise. They put forward the ballot measure that will go to the voters that's just another evil at teachers. It's the one that says it would make it a crime or it would punish teachers if they share a flyer in the lounge to say join the union. It would punish teachers if they sent an email to their fellow teachers, join the union. It would punish teachers and take away their pension for doing these things. It would take away their pension that the one they're already vested in, if they took their own personal time off to protest, to not show up to work, if they wanted to protest ICE, if they wanted to protest their school district, if they wanted to protest the legislature, if they took their own personal time off to do that. If more than one of them did it, they'd call that a strike, and they would say, you lose your pension. It is a terribly evil, terribly mean problem, and it is so prejudiced against unions. And why? I really hope that our Republicans in the legislature will start to recognize that being against unions means being against working people, and the people of Arizona know it. Do you have Ellen, go ahead. Yes, right. Yes, it's the teachers union. Okay, so yes, thank you, Ellen, for pointing out that yes, this ballot measure from the Republican Party and that has only Republican votes is against the teachers union. Very specifically, it is anti-teacher. So, and Mary, I think, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so thank you, Mary Rothschild. This is the same Republican Party, she's saying, that is funding our pure pupil funding is now 50th. Our teacher pay is at the bottom of the barrel as well. And so we cannot stand for it. We have to let the people of Arizona know who the Republicans really are. Mostly they are haters. They don't want to help the working families. They don't want to help teachers, and they don't want to help you. So let's make sure that everybody knows that. Cliff. It is HCR 2040. And it will become, I think it passed the Senate today on COW. So it would still have to pass third read. We are working hard, back channels, with a couple of Republicans who kind of understand it's a really bad look for them. Some of our Republicans who are in districts with a lot of union mining workers, to be this anti-union is very problematic, because this is all about, you cannot share recruiting for the teachers union. It's that direct, and it is just awful. So thank goodness I've been advocating for public schools for over 30 years, because this came up. Our chief of staff said just before we're going on the floor, oh, by the way, this is going to come up. And I had like 15 minutes to put together about 3 or 4 or 5 different speeches for people to make. And we did a fine job as a team, our Democratic senators, along with our staff that helped us out. But be on the lookout for that. Obviously, bad thing. On the subject of initiatives, we all know that this ESA reform, the good one, has to get passed. We know that this yes, thank you, protect the vote has to get passed. These are 2 really important ballot initiatives. And that's why it's looking like we're not going to press for Prop 123 to be on the ballot this November. we don't want to clutter up the ballot. These are too important. Both of those are really important. And we'll come up with a better version of Prop 123 after this election, because we feel strongly that we're going to do the work and make a difference in this 2026 election so that we'll have better legislators, maybe even a majority. And it could be, we can do a better Prop 123 next time. So yes, let's get out there. Let's get out there and do doors. Let's get these initiatives signed. Any other questions, Molly? It's HCR 2040. And Fred?
Missy, excuse me, can you repeat the questions that the people ask in the room? Because we can't hear what they're asking.
Yes, I have repeated everything they have said. The last couple of questions were just, what is the bill number? So I said it, HCR 2040. And now, Fred, did you have a question?
Jeopardy after this. And if you don't believe me, I have a breed in my hometown of Brooklyn, New York, that I'd like to sell to you.
So thank you, Fred.
You want me to say it again? She wants me to say it again because it's done on here. Yeah, what I said was that right now they're going after the teachers union, but that's just the stepping stone. It's going to be every union in the state if they're able to accomplish this. They're after the working person.
So I'll end on a little bit of a bright note. We had to turn lemons into lemonade on the floor today. This was Senator Hoffman was the one presenting this bill on the floor. And so I said that I have learned a thing or two, and I agree with those before me who have said, when somebody is trying to oppress your right to protest, what are they planning to do to you so that you will not be able to protest it? Think about that. So I asked Jake Hoffman on the floor today, with that preface, what are you planning to do to teachers that you don't want them to protest? And he did what he does, a whole lot of fluffity fluff and a few nasty things about people. And then he said, I think that was a leading question. And he was complainy face. And I said, Senator Hoffman, where I lead, you may follow. And have a great night, everybody.
Okay. We're gonna get ready to do our raffle basket drawing. And then don't forget, we also have lots of merchandise. So LD12 t-shirts for sale. We have cookbooks and other things. Another way that we help support the LD. So please make sure you check out Kay Kennedy and everything. So Steve is going to get all set up. After we do the Bada Bing raffle basket, we open it up for new business. Anybody in the room can line up. You get 1 minute to talk about whatever you want, an upcoming event. Just like this, you say, hi, my name is Melissa. I'm a PC in LD12. I'm helping with the LD12 fundraiser that you have little flyers on there. It's going to be at Drink Me Tea Room, in case you forgot. So please make sure to join us, sign up. Pretty simple. Say whatever you want. So if you are interested in talking about new business, you can go ahead and start to line up over here, because once we do that raffle basket drawing, we're going to get to new business. Sherry will get her timer out. I lost her. Oh, shoot. It's got to be here somewhere. We brought it. Oh, it's in the white container with the petitions, this one. No, shoot. Okay, well, it's somewhere. Steve,
Okay.
the floor is yours
Excellent.
while we find the timer.
So we sold 152, easy for me to say. Sorry about that. 152, is there a draft in here? And 247 Brood Awakenings for a grand total of 399 tickets and $260 raised. So the first thing I will do is get a random number for the 152 tickets. Hold on a sec. Okay, random number 152. Is 31. Then you go back. And number 31 for Is There a Draft is Carolyn Haith. Carolyn Haith. And I'm trying. Let me try it again. Yes. Yeah. All right. So let me go back and get the 247. $247. Our random number is 198. If I go down to 198 on the Brood Awakenings, it is, oh no, it's Molly Donnelly again. It's amazing. She's won the last 4 times. Honest to gosh, I'll do it again.
Okay, Molly said we can go ahead and choose another number. Thanks, Molly.
Okay, it's 245. So that is Kimberly Malden. Malden.
All right. All right. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you to your winners. Don't forget to come over and pick up your raffle baskets. So then Steve we'll stop screen sharing and then we'll get to our new business. You have 1 minute. We've got a lot of people lined up. So we're going to try to get through this. Sherry has our timer. Why does it looks very light. All right, come on up, Janet.
Hi, Janet Hamlin. Many of you know me from Mayor Wood's campaign, Councilmember Chin's campaign, Franklin Zyrik's campaign, Greg Stanton's campaign. Families like mine need good people elected. Jennifer Germain needs your help. As a judge, she cannot ask you for money, but I can. There is a paper with a QR code on your table. If you could donate $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 to her, she is our only judge overlapping our district who is in a competitive race against someone who's very good at raising money. Please consider making a small donation to Jennifer. She needs her support. I sat in her courtroom Tuesday observing, and she is amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet.
Hi,
We're gonna have a good.
my name is Ed Giebel. This is Nicole's speech written by somebody who was angry today when he wrote it. Speech. Okay, I'm going to start by saying that until January of 2020, I was actually a registered Republican. I woke up one morning in that January and said, this shit has got to stop. And I said to my wife, it's not going to stop because I'm trying to do things differently in the Republican Party. This is under Trump, what was once the grand old party became a cult. So as Democrats, we will not become a different cult, okay? I'm angry that we have people who have gone through the effort, gathered signatures, got themselves on the ballot, but when they come here to ask for our vote, we got heckling and booing going on, okay? We can't do that. We all know what I'm speaking about, but it extends to anybody who comes here that we disagree with. If you don't like their platform or position on something, then go out and do something about it. Canvass for the opposition, give money to the opposition, whatever you need to do, but don't boo the people who are asking for your vote here in this forum. I will say that. And finally, we will stop bullying people when we disagree with them. We're only 15 months into this presidential term, And I've had enough of that from the GOP. So don't make me go back to those asses.
Thank you, Ed.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Catherine Peters, and I'm running for Kyrene School District Governing Board. I want to share with you guys tonight that Kyrene saved my life. That's quite honestly the truth. It saved me and my mother's life. She's sitting back there with me tonight. And this is my way to give back. And now I get to see my own daughter run through the same hallways that me and my husband did when we were kids. And so this is very personal to me, and I have a lot of vested in it. And I look at Kyrene as our babies. These are our babies. These are our future. Like Mitzi and everybody else has said tonight, our public education is under attack, and we need board members up there that are going to fight and do it with heart and passion, because they know what it is to get up in the morning and have hopes and dreams for their children and the children of the community. A couple of things I just want to highlight is I'm currently planning my official kickoff right in the middle of summer, so yay. So be on the lookout for that. I have yard signs in the back, so please feel free to take one. And I also passed out some flyers on the table so you guys can learn a little bit more about me and my story, and I'll be around if you guys want to hear anything else. So thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hugo Tapia, and I'm the newly appointed co-chair for the Latino Caucus. And I wanted to really invite any of you that would like to be a part of this, that are state committee person, to come and join us. We need your voice. We need you to really be a part of this movement that we need to get going, because we lost lots of Latinos in the last election, and that is actually very critical for us to win our elections statewide, but also here in our district. So we need to mobilize. We need allies as well. So if you are a state committee person and you are one of our allies in the Latino community, please come and participate. I'm gonna have a list up at in the table back there for you to give us your email, and we can invite you to that. And please do join us. It's been really interesting to participate in the meeting of Latinos with 5 or 6 people present, and that should not happen in the Democratic Party. So, thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Franklin Zyra, candidate for Kyrene Governing Board. Thank you, thank you. Just want to know, and many of you know I've been out here for a while, but I've been involved in LD12 and LD18 before that a long time, going back to even being an intern for then Representative Mitzi Epstein. It's hard to believe that was almost 10 years ago, back in summer of 2017. And again, I'm a Kyrene kid. I went through the Kyrene schools, and I want to make sure that Kyrene can retain the quality educational programs that it's known for during these difficult times: music, art, gifted education, the things that Kyrene's known for all around the state. I have 2 events coming up. This coming Sunday, the 17th at 11 a.m., Paul and Marion Wyke are hosting a meet and greet brunch for me. You could sign up over there. And then on June 6th at 2 p.m., Catherine Menner will be hosting another meet and greet that Saturday at her house. So just thank you all for your time this evening. I know it's really hot, so we're almost done. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Armando Montero, currently president of the Tempe Union School Board and one of your candidates for the LD12 State House of Representatives this year. Thank you. Thank you. Very quickly, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but as many of you know, we have an uncontested primary, so we're straight through to the general election, meaning we need all hands on deck to ensure that we're keeping LD12 blue, re-electing Representative